Hey guys, welcome back here at Intuitive Angling, and appreciate you guys joining me for today's episode. Got another really good story time for y'all today. We're going to be talking about, guys, how I helped design the Megabass Vision 110 jerkbait back in the late 1990s. This is a very interesting story about how this bait came to be. And I know a lot of anglers or a lot of people that watch the channel, you guys use Megabass jerkbaits. Most everybody does. There's not a pro in the country that does not have a Megabass jerkbait, or especially the Vision 110 in their box. So I'm going to tell you guys about the evolution of the bait and how I helped, put together the bait with Megabass in today's episode here. Also, guys, quick reminder before we get started, just like to invite everybody to please consider hitting that subscribe button here to the channel, man. Free and easy to do so. And also, guys, you probably heard me talking about it, but if not, wanted to give you a quick heads up. We're getting ready to start a live stream for Intuitive Angling. A private live stream is going to be available to channel members and Patreon members of the channel. So if you're interested, just go to my YouTube homepage, hit the join button for information, or go into the description of this video and click on my Patreon page for info. This is going to be, I can't wait to do this, guys. We're going to do this probably every week, talk about stuff we can't talk about on the public channels. You guys can interact with me. So I'd like to invite everybody to do that. And also, guys, I'll put the Megabass Jerkbait link in the description of this video if you guys would like to pick up some of the Megabass products through my Tackle Warehouse link after this video. So thank you for putting up with the plugs there. Okay, let's get started on this here. Now, first of all, a little bit about the Megabass Jerkbait before I get into the evolution of it. The Megabass Jerkbait is, there's no doubt it's the best jerkbait in the history of bass fishing. There's not another one that even comes close to it. Every pro uses it. There's been more tournaments won on it. There's been more bass caught on it. It completely changed the game with the design of this bait, and I'll explain a little bit about the design element, what set this apart above any other jerkbait in the world, and how it's been copied by everybody since then as a result. But let's get into the story about how this happened. It goes way back to 1992. I was at the Bassmaster Classic in 1992 at Lake Logan Martin, and back then in the classics, when they were really good classics, the classics aren't near as good as they used to be back in the 90s. But back then, they had this, tuxedo banquet type thing every night for the contenders and the press. And at the banquets, we had these big banquet tables, and they just randomly set you with different people. And as fate had it, and as the mystery of the universe had it, I happened to get seated next to an individual named Masaki Murayama. And I found out as we were talking through the evening, Masaki was the Japanese liaison for Megabass. And Megabass, nobody knew who they were. I'd never heard of it. Nobody had ever heard of it because the company just got started out of Yuki Ito, his garage. Yuki Ito is the founder of the company and the chief lure designer, but Yuki started the company just a few years before that. And Masaki was at the Classic because Megabass wanted to get an American presence over here. And throughout the course of the evening, Masaki and I, we just hit it off. There's something about it. We just became really good friends, and we stayed good friends up until he passed away several years ago. He became a really close friend of mine. One of those things, you just hit it off with somebody. And I just hit it off with Masaki. And during the course of the dinner, he said, hey, he goes, we're looking for somebody to help push Megabass over here. Would you be interested? And I said, well, yeah, absolutely. After talking to him and, hearing his vision for what's going on and here's his intellect on the product, I was really interested. And at the time, Megabass didn't have hardly anything. They had some hard lures like that nobody had ever heard about, and they were starting to get in maybe rods a little bit later, but they didn't have, there was not any awareness of Megabass in the United States at that point. So through the course of the next few years, I went to Japan for Megabass over at some sports shows there to work the Megabass booth at the sports shows. Started using them in the tournament, started using the products that they did have. And in about 1997 or 1998, I said to Masaki, with the resources and design expertise that Megabass has, we really need to design a jerkbait. I said a jerkbait this is like completely up Megabass's line. And there's so many different potential, benefits from this to the company and to the anglers. So at the time, I had been fishing jerkbaits forever, living here in the Missouri Ozarks, and I had a ton of custom baits that I had designed myself. And what these were, they were different type of Rogue minnows and Bomber Long A minnows and Rebel Spoonbill minnows. And I had personally modified all these. I had drilled them out. I had experimented with different type of rattle systems and BBs, epoxied them, balanced them, put lead weight in it, added weight, took weight away. I custom painted them. I had these baits that were perfect. They'd either suspend perfect, or they'd sink perfect, or they'd rise perfect. And I'd tweak the actions on the lip. I'd modify the lips. I had about a dozen of my invaluable jerkbaits, and I said, why don't you let me do this? Let me send you my jerkbait box to Yuki Ito, and let Yuki take a look at them, and I'll describe exactly what I want. I want, as far as the action, what the jerkbait needs to do, everything about it. So I sent everything over to Japan. Yuki took a look at it. He put everything together, and this is what he came up with. This is a Megabass Vision 110. This one right here, guys, this is a 1999 model. This bait right here is 27 years old. It's got the old round eyes on it, but it's pretty much stayed unchanged. So Yuki took my ideas that I gave to him, and he completely created this. Yuki Ito, guys, he is the ultimate master lure designer. The guy is an absolute genius when it comes to taking ideas and information and physically manifesting them. So this is a physical manifestation of all those old baits that I had. And this completely changed the game, because what Yuki did, which I didn't even understand how to do, is he created this internal balancer system within the Megabass Vision 110 that set it apart from any other bait out there. Before, these things would cast like a potato chip, but now with this internal balancer system with the tungsten weights in it, when you casted the Megabass Vision 110, all the weight went to the back of the lure, which made it cast well, and then it would shift on the retrieve and create this action and darting action that we had never seen before in a jerkbait. And then the combination of that, and then the attention to detail. The Megabass Vision 110 was the first bait that actually looked like a real fish. The different type of cuts and angles in it, the profile of the bait, the paint schemes, the quality components, the next level quality components like on hooks and split rings. That's why all of a sudden you had this expensive jerkbait, and it was expensive because of the components in it and the design elements. It wasn't just a cheaply made bait like a Rogue or Spoonbill minnow that was like a very cheaply made lure. It set the bar and created the next level. So I was the first person that had this thing, and I almost won an FLW tournament at Lake Champlain on this thing back in the late 90s before anyone had it. And then slowly they started getting them in tackle stores around the country. Little by little, people started catching fish on them constantly, and then the rest is history. The word of mouth and the tournament success on the Vision 110 is what made it the most popular jerkbait in the world today. And it's been copied by everybody, guys. Every lure company out there has looked at the Megabass Vision 110 and tried to copy it as close as they could without actually copying the thing exactly. So if you look at about any jerkbait today, there's some resemblance to a Vision 110, because there's not another bait like this. But anyway, guys, I was just very fortunate to be part of the company. Like I said, Masaki Murayama and I, we became lifelong friends, and now his son, Yusuke Murayama, runs Megabass America, which is in great hands with Yusuke. Yusuke is exemplary at everything he's done. He's really helped grow the company. Yuki Ito still owns Megabass and still is the chief lure designer there. It's just an incredible company, guys. It's just the quality and it's just the brilliance of it. It's like everything about it is just like state of the art and sets the bar. And like I said, I'm just really fortunate to have been part of that in some extent. So anyway, there it is. That story behind the Megabass Vision 110, guys. Actually, with the 110, Megabass makes so many different types of jerkbaits now. I probably use the 110 far less than I used to. Some of my favorite Megabass jerkbaits now that they make is the X Nanahan series, Megabass Kanata, Megabass Edo Shiner, the X80 Trick Darter. I mean, they have a ton of different jerkbaits that fit every fishing conditions you have. So anyway, guys, everybody's got them. I don't care if you're the top pro. If you look in the tackle box of any top pro in the country, you will find one of these sitting there, and there's a reason for that. So anyway, I hope you guys are well. We'll check in later.